Hi, I'm Rochy. Today I want to talk to you about how to be confident where you're at. I think often when people have low self-confidence, their hope is kind of rested in when I improve, then I'll be confident. You see a lot of testimonials about how such and such, was so poor in self-confidence and then they lost all this weight and now they're so confident and they're the most confident they've ever been, etc., etc. Obviously, as you improve, your self-confidence is going to grow naturally. I think where it becomes a problem is when you're pinning your hope of self-confidence on a person that you're going to be in the future. This is most likely going to mean that you're never going to be satisfied. Even when you do reach that, there's always going to be something further that you're going to need to feel confident in yourself. Obviously, I think we all want to feel confident because it just makes going about life that much easier, and it's a good feeling, it's a feeling that we chase. So I'm going to talk about how to get there where you are, and these are things that I'm working through. So I've seen how they've helped me, but also I'm not there yet, so don't feel like I'm preaching at you. I'm very much preaching to myself as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is acknowledging where you're actually at. I know it's often easy to project an image of the person that you want to be. I think we see this a lot online. I know that I myself have been guilty of it on Facebook, on Instagram, of just projecting this sort of ideal image. But it's also sometimes done in real life. I know that there's been many times when I've been having conversations with people and I've sort of acted the way that either I thought they wanted me to, or sort of pretended to have my life more together than it actually was. I think it's a problem when we can't actually admit to ourselves where our shortfalls are. Not that I think we should be constantly dwelling on them, but I just think that we should acknowledge them if we want a chance to address them and move forward. Plus, putting up an image is so exhausting, I know from personal experience, so let's just stop doing that, okay? The next two kind of are the follow-on from that first tip, and the second step in this, I think, is to think about where you want to end up, where you want to be, where you're headed, and write it down maybe if that's what helps you. I find that helps me a lot. Basically, the idea is visualizing where you want to be in the future. This might seem contrary to what I was talking about yesterday with that I struggle with big picture thinking, but I actually mean something very specific by that. What I mean is that when I'm in front of a task, I don't want to be thinking of that task as a drop in the ocean that's never going to have any effect on this giant, impossible to tackle ocean. But that doesn't mean that we ignore where we're heading at all and don't make any bigger long-term goals. It just means that we acknowledge each little task as being important and valuable so that we're more likely to actually do it. I find knowing where I'm heading really boosting to my self-esteem because I feel like I actually have somewhere that I'm working towards, and knowing that I'm only going to keep growing if I keep focused, that's a really good feeling. A good task to do for this is something that I recently discovered on Lavendare's channel. I'll link her channel down below and that video. It's this task where you compare your current self to your future self. This might seem really daunting, but I found it really, really helpful in setting my focus. So basically, you draw a little picture of yourself. I drew like literally exactly what I was wearing that time, and then you draw around some attributes about your current self that you want to improve on, basically. So I've written some of my unhealthy thoughts that I have pretty regularly. I've written a bit of stuff about anxiety and how I want to improve on that. I've written some physical problems that I have. I've written stuff about my home that I want to improve on, my organization that I want to improve on, and just a few little other bits and bobs around the place. I've written some stuff on spiritual growth. And then over here I've got future me. I've drawn little future me. She has a cute little scruffy bob. We'll get there. And then I've basically just written down these sort of future goals of what I would ideally like those things to look like. This is not a yearly resolution type thing. This is just saying this is where I want to be eventually. Again, this isn't meant to make you feel like rubbish. It actually has had the opposite effect to me because I'm like, this is what I'm working towards every day. So my next tip is probably not that unexpected, and that is take baby steps and acknowledge them as being the good things that they are. So what I mean by this is when you have these goals that you're working towards, often the steps that you take forward are going to be very, very minuscule steps forward. It might just be making a simple, healthier choice, like choosing to take the stairs instead of the elevator. That is such an obvious one, but it's one little thing that's actually contributing towards your goals. So at the end of the day, you can say, hey, that little thing that I did was actually beneficial to me, and you can be proud of that small little step forward, and that's going to really boost your confidence because it's going to make you feel like you are actually working towards those goals that you have. My last tip is kind of on a different tangent to the other three, and that is to find a creative outlet. I don't think there are many things better than making something out of nothing and putting it out into the world. And I don't necessarily mean for other people to see. I just mean, you know, when you do some doodling in your notebook, or when you write a poem, or play some music, or sing along to your favorite song. These are things that only exist in the world because you put them there. And I think that's a really cool thing. Not to mention that you actually get to then appreciate the good thing that you've put into the world for its own beauty. You get to take a step back and acknowledge the beauty of the thing that you've just put into the world. And I think that is pretty awesome. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to hear more ideas on self-confidence, I am just bubbling over with thoughts in my head of things I could add, but this video will get too long. So comment down below if you want to hear more about how to be more self-confident. Comment below your thoughts on self-confidence, things that you have found have helped you grow in your self-confidence. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.